And our Sunrise Smart Start, a mother and her 4-year-old were driving through Rochester overnight when they were shot at from another passing car.
The 25-year-old woman driving along Upper Falls near Wideman Street just before 12:30 this morning. No one was struck, but that 4-year-old was cut by some glass from a shattered rear passenger window. There are no suspects in custody.
Meanwhile, officials are investigating a fire on East Ridge Road that left one firefighter injured and a family of 4 displaced. This happening just before 3 this morning, and according to officials, the second story of the home sustained significant damage, rendering the home uninhabitable. A family of 3 children and 1 adult are now receiving help from the Red Cross. A firefighter was transported to the hospital with 1 injury to their lower leg.
The CGI Rochester International Jazz Festival continuing today. The headliner over the weekend, the Devin Allman Project, led by the son of the late Greg Allman. This year is for the first time, all of the headline performances are free at Parcel 5. The Jazz Fest goes through this Saturday, June 25th.
And also happening today in honor of the federal holiday Juneteenth, the city will be hosting its first annual block party today. The event will take place outside of City Hall, and it will run from 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. Local food trucks and live music from Cinnamon Jones will be available, and it is free to the public.
Juneteenth celebrating the day in 1865 when slaves in Galveston, Texas were told they were free and had been for 2 years under President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation. Celebrations over the weekend included a free performance by Garth Fagan Dance and a poetry slam at Highland Bowl.
Juneteenth is a day that we celebrate Black people being able to thrive even under the conditions of inequality, even under the conditions of oppression, even under the conditions of dire poverty. Black folks are able to still survive, and we celebrate that.
Irondequoit celebrating Juneteenth with an array of festivities Sunday as well. Monroe County offices will be closed today in observance of the federal holiday.
Well, for some of those Juneteenth celebrations taking place today, Liam, not a bad day weather-wise.
Yeah, not a bad day weather-wise at all. Of course, you did mention this weekend was a little bit on the cooler side. I don't think that's going to be something we're dealing with today, though. Temperatures, of course, starting out into the 50s, so maybe a light jacket wouldn't hurt to start out, or even a sweatshirt you could probably pass by with. This afternoon, we'll see a lot more sunshine. Areas to the west of 390, though, I think are going to stay a bit on the cloudier side today. Anywhere to the east and towards the Finger Lakes should stay clear, and that should be a pretty nice way to get through the daytime there. Temperatures back into the 70s by this afternoon. I do think we are going to run into an issue, though, with the lake breeze, especially right up along the lake shore. Something to keep in mind. And then the other thing to keep in the back of your head, rain is on the way by the end of this week. We'll talk more details in just a little bit.
All right, Liam, thank you. Checking the roads again with our Sunrise traffic. We mentioned those 2 accidents just into the newsroom, one on Lyle Avenue in Rochester near Mount Read Boulevard, the other in Pittsford by Sully's Trail and Garnsey Road. The main arteries, 390, 490, and 590, up to speed at last check. In some developing news, the search for a missing jet skier will continue today in Lake Ontario. The jet skier went missing just after 10 a.m. Saturday morning near Durand Eastman Beach. The chief of the Rochester Coast Guard Station says winds ranging from 20 to 37 miles per hour Saturday were enough to issue a small craft advisory, including jet skis.
Difficult to drive when you're steering them too. It's not like a boat where if you turn the wheel, you know, with a jet ski, you got to turn the handlebars and you have to actually give it throttle for it to turn. There's no rudder underneath it. So if you let off the throttle and you turn, you're not going to turn the jet ski.
Authorities have not released the identity of that missing jet skier. The Coast Guard wants to remind people if you are going on the lake, make sure you have a life preserver and communicate with people when and where you are casting off.
Summer vacation right around the corner for students of the Rochester Central School District, City School District, excuse me. With more time on their hands, the city and private sector are stepping up to keep them occupied. Some in law enforcement and community activism fear potential violence, with at least 18 minors in 2022 being involved in cities or shootings throughout the city. Mike Johnson, president of Save Rochester, says he's determined to not allow any more students join that list this summer.
We have a workshop, a financial literacy workshop coming up for young boys who are at risk and also for adult men who are at risk. So we are going to be promoting that. We have an opportunity for them to learn how to start their own business.
Mayor Malik Evans partnered with Save Rochester and other nonprofits to prevent students getting involved in crime. And in national news, fears about a possible recession are growing, but President Biden and his team are trying to address those concerns.
Hannah Brandt is in Washington with what they are working on.
With the Federal Reserve aggressively raising interest rates to try to curb inflation, some are worried a recession is coming. That's exactly what former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers predicted on NBC's Meet the Press.
The dominant probability would be that by the end of next year, we would be seeing a recession in the American economy.
But current Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen told ABC this week she disagrees.
We expect a transition to steady and stable growth, but I don't think a recession is at all inevitable.
The Biden administration is looking for ways to tackle inflation. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm said on CNN's State of the Union they are weighing the idea of a federal gas tax holiday.
First and foremost, we want to increase supply. We also want to take a look at consumer relief directly.
Republicans blame President Biden and his policies for the economic issues. And on Fox News Sunday, Senator Mike Lee said his party has solutions.
We need to focus on regulatory reform as the first order of business. That would help bring down inflation.
Economic Director Brian Deese says the president welcomes help from lawmakers.
He's using the tools that he has, and he's calling on Congress to pass legislation that would help to accelerate this process.
And he says they're working to negotiate legislation to do things like lower prescription drug costs and enact tax reforms.
This is not just about enacting legislation. It's about giving some relief to families right now.
And the president is also considering dropping some tariffs on Chinese imports. Those were initially put in place by the Trump administration.
Well, taking a look at the lottery now, there was a winning lottery ticket purchased in Rochester yesterday. It was sold during the Take 5 evening drawing with a prize of over $33,000. That ticket was purchased at Universal Liquor on University Avenue.
All right, let's find out what some folks will be talking about at the water cooler this morning. Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Colorado Avalanche, Tampa Bay Lightning, all Avalanche in this one. They took down the Lightning by a score of 7-0. That's right. Game 3 is coming up tonight.
Not the most
Tampa.
Exciting game there.
No, Colorado with a 2-0 lead there halfway home.
Yeah.
Big stuff.
Well, congrats to them, and we'll continue to keep watching that.
Yeah, right.
I'm just happy to see Tampa Bay lose. They knocked my Rangers out of the Stanley Cup Finals, so you know what? Good riddance. That's all I have to say to the Tampa Bay Lightning this morning. Coming out strong.
No lightning in the forecast.
No lightning in the forecast today, but as you get a little bit later in the week, that is going to be something we had to keep an eye out for. But for right now, starting out into the 50s, we finally start to see some temperatures rise. So it has got up to 54. That's going to be something that's a little bit different from maybe the past few hours. They were at the low 50s earlier on. Today, of course, mostly sunny, easygoing, last day of spring. Tomorrow's the first day of summer. The summer solstice is tomorrow on Tuesday. Some isolated showers and storms. It will definitely be hotter and humid there. Then Wednesday, some strong storms are going to be a possibility. So we'll jump right into Tuesday because that's going to be one of the more interesting days. Looks like a lot of it stays off towards our east on future view, but I do think we could scoot a little bit of that further west. We'll start to see some showers, at least at some point through parts of our area. Overnight into Wednesday, we'll start to see some more chances for rain work their way in. And then by Wednesday afternoon, that's that time period that we're going to watch a couple of those stronger storms potentially work their way in. And notice those temperatures, both Wednesday and Tuesday, back into the upper 80s. You're going to add some humidity to that as well as you work our way through. That's going to be the bigger thing.
All right, Liam, thank you so much, and thank you for watching News 8 at Sunrise.
Our next update in 30 minutes. CBS Mornings is up next. Have a great day.